Okay, so we just said goodbye to the in-person, not in-person, it's not in person, but the live people um, who were just hovering in the background. And this is a welcoming everybody who is joining us by the Zoom recording. I have put Sekhmet back in the deck. I've been shuffling. I'm going to shuffle one more time and see who it is. Drum roll. Oh. Oh. Rhiannon. Now it says doubt. Where's the box? Oh, the box is there. And that can be part of it. Let me just get the image of her up here. I think we actually had her not too long ago. Oh, what a great, massive, big image. So this will be very easy to meditate with. So I'm going to start the music. And immediately turn it down. There we go. Okay. So just get yourselves comfy and just start to focus on your breath. I kept going past her. Just turn this down one more time. There. So, I have a feeling that everybody here probably has a connection to Rhiannon already. And there are so many different facets and overlays and nuances to her story. So the one that Amy Sophia Marashinsky has focused on is the one that brings in this aspect of doubt. So it says here, the Welsh horse, goddess of the underworld, Rigatona, or Great Queen, was Rhiannon's original name. Her story was reduced to something of a fairy tale, just as her name was changed from Great Queen. Though not human, she married Pwyll, a mortal, and bore him a son who disappeared at birth. The attendant maids smeared the blood of a puppy on Rhiannon's face and accused her of eating her child. Rhiannon was sentenced to carry all her husband's guests on her back. When her son reappeared after 7 years, all lived happily ever after. Well, again, not perhaps the whole story, but that's for a different time. It does say here, Rhiannon gallops into your life to tell you how to work with doubt. To doubt someone or something when your instincts are giving you warning signals is healthy. So here is her poem. I wasn't certain after all. My face had blood on it. All fingers pointed to me. Could I have killed him, my infant son, my own, in my sleep? I was accused and found guilty, and I doubted myself for 7 long years. I played horse to my lord husband Pwyll guests, carrying them into court, carrying them out again. And the times were many when I doubted myself, doubted along with all the other humans, that because I was from the other world, anything was possible. So focus on your breath and drop that breath deep into your torso. Feel the expansion as you inhale. And hold for a moment before releasing into the exhale. Slow your breath down. Drop your breath down. And be aware of any place in your body that you may be holding tension, or any thoughts that are holding on. And as you exhale, release the tension, release the thoughts. And in that place within, in that inner landscape, find yourself in a place of sanctuary, where land and sea and sky come together. And as you breathe deeply and slowly, bring your awareness first to the land upon which you sit. Feel that connection to that solid support beneath you. Breathe into earth and feel that constancy of presence. And with the next breath, bring your awareness to the realm of sea, to the water, however it is that that water shows up for you. It may be a river, or a lake, or an ocean, maybe a little pond or a stream. However it is, that water touches your place of sanctuary. Be aware of how it brings the aspects of ebb and flow. Where there is solidity with earth, there is fluidity with water. And with the next breaths, bring your awareness to the expanse of sky above you, the realm of sky, the element of air. Be aware of how the sky shows up, whether it is clear or cloudy, light or dark. The air brings clarity sky brings expansion. And as you breathe once more, connecting with these three elements of earth and water and air, you become aware there is a shimmer, there is a crackle, there is an energy which is showing up in this place of sanctuary. And as you soften your gaze, you become aware that this crackle is taking shape, it's taking form. There's a fire which is shaping itself into the goddess Rhiannon. And she is arriving in this place to take you on a journey or sit in conversation or share her experiences or share insights. However it is that this time is to be spent, allow yourself to drop into it. Allow yourself to open your heart to Rhiannon and journey with her. And bring your awareness once more back to your breath, to the inhale and the exhale. And as you focus on that flow, just take a moment to thank Rhiannon for the journey or the insights, for the communion, the time spent together. And allow yourself in these last moments with Rhiannon to be open to receiving a gift if she has one to offer you. There is something that passes from her to you. As you thank her for that gift and thank her for the time, as you watch, you see the shape of her start to shimmer and start to dissipate. And as you watch, the solid shape of the goddess dissipates and it returns to source. And it is just you in your place of sanctuary, with the rise and fall of your breath, following that breath as it brings you slowly but solidly back to the here and now, back to this time and place, to the space where you sit. You can open up your eyes and take a moment to make sure you are solidly back. Maybe sweep down your energy field. And I'm going to share keeping her image up. Welcome back. We have a little bit of activity happening outside of the window. There are children and very big tractors. And children being told to get off the road, even though they're soccer balls. So this was interesting. I found that connecting with Rhiannon, I find, as I think with so many of us, hers is a story that we are very familiar with, and there's always different levels and depths that we can go to every time we connect with her, and different messages that can come through. But I found I haven't connected with her in this way in a while, and seeing that image up there, I was reminded of a goddess meditation from many, many years ago. It would have been, my gosh, I think 2017 or 2018. It was a long time ago. It would take me a moment to find out, which one exactly it was, but years are blurring. But it was a very, very, very tough one. And I've shared this story in some places, but it was the time when Connor started to really struggle in a really, really big way. And he had been struggling for a bit, for a while. I would say this would have in May, I think, of 2018. And it was getting increasingly concerning, behavior that was increasingly frightening. And then there was a day when it was really terrifying, and he, I was afraid for him, and I called the police, and he was taken to the hospital. And while all of this had been happening, over weeks that this has been happening, I was just praying to Rhiannon to help me, to have the strength to know how to meet it, know how to meet it, know how to meet it. And I was also praying to Bronwyn, because it was heartbreaking, terrifying and heartbreaking. And I kept reaching out to Bronwyn to, help my heart, and Rhiannon to help me be strong and help me to know how to move through this, the burden that he was struggling with. And when he came back from the hospital, so he was in the hospital for a week, and at that time, he had been going to counseling and going to group and putting some things in place that would continue to help to support him, that it was agreed that, he would be at home and do those things. And then came the day when he was to go back on a day program, and everything fell apart. And that was the day that he walked out the door, saying that he'd rather be homeless than to seek help. And I remember saying to him, because he said, "It will be a long time before you ever see me again." And I said, just as long as you know how deeply loved you are, that there is space for you here. We want you here. And I can't stop you. I can't hold you. He was an adult. But know that you are deeply loved. And he walked out the door. And I had a goddess meditation to go to. I knew that there were, within an hour, a lot of people who were going to be at the front door. And I had no way of being able to contact anybody. I guess I could have just not shown up. But instead, I prayed to Rhiannon, and I prayed to Bronwyn, and I took deep breaths, and I went to the hive and set up the chairs. And I remember a very full classroom, and there were probably about 20 people there, and there was one person that I didn't recognize, and my thing was that if there was a new person to come to the goddess meditation, that they would be the one who could pick the goddess. And so I invited this person to pick the goddess, and so she stood up and she put her hand into the bowl, and she pulled out Rhiannon. And I remembered just that intake of breath, of sort of disbelief, because she was just so present. And I was sort of shocked and looked up at this person, and it was this young woman. And I said, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name." And she said, "Bronwyn." At which point I kind of totally, I was just like croaked, "Thank you." I think I had to pass the book to somebody else. I was like, "Can you please read this?" Because I had no words for what had just shown up, except that the goddesses showed up with hope. And that was a very terrible day, and that was a very terrible night. And then Connor showed up at the front door the very next morning. And it was still tough. But by the September, I think it was September, several months later, the Sisterhood of Avalon put on a Rhiannon. It was the very first goddess immersion, and it was Rhiannon, and I was scheduled to go and cook for it. And there was something of Connor that was going on that was really, really important for him to attend. And I remember him coming to me the night before I went down and asking if I would go with him to be a part of that. And which of course I said yes, and then I went down to the Rhiannon immersion, and again just spending time with the goddess as she in so many different ways shared that this is not about an easy path, but there is always presence and there's always support as you are walking this path, as challenging as it can be. And I will say, coming out of that goddess immersion, that the things that happened after that, again, they were tough things, but there was some hope, and there was some grace, and there was some beauty, at least for a time, at least for months, and then things got rocky again. So her showing up today, I feel like there are these sort of moments, these pivotal moments that, I don't know, kids on one side, I've got a dog digging a hole, a nest in a bed on the other side, that I feel like this is perhaps a bit more of a deeper personal sharing than I usually do, but it just felt so profound as I was looking in her eyes, that she said, in the moments that are the hardest moments that you have, in the moments when you don't know how you're going to keep going, I am here. Because the doubt that the card said, what I sort of came to was one of the things that I have been thinking about over the last few weeks, again, over everything that has gone on for the past, I don't even know how long. I realized that one thing that I learned in my relationship with Connor, certainly, more so than any relationship that I have had, any relationship, is that he taught me what it is to not doubt. Because it didn't matter what was happening, I never doubted my love. Never. And it's not about the circumstances or the highs and lows or the ins and outs or whatever. It is that sort of constancy in the heart. And I found, looking at this image, there is something in her gaze which is so steady that no matter what's going on around her, it's like there can be questions like, is that real? Is that not real? I don't know. But I know I can see through the truth of the heart that I carry. And that reflection, to always go back to that place, that what's happening out there may be confusing, but what is happening in here is unquestionable. That is beyond doubt. So, I'm going to just thank you for sharing this space with all the energies that it brings. And may Rhiannon guide you to the sureness of your heart, that you may never doubt what you know is your truth. And thank you, everybody in Zoom land, for joining us. And we will see you next week.